I'm Jen. I'm the kind of old autistic lady, and today's video is going to be about frustration and how to handle that as an autistic person, especially continued frustration when you really want to do something and it just doesn't happen, at least not the way you want it to. So, a little bit about the background of this video. I got some new equipment and I've been trying to post a video all week, and I've just been coming into problem after problem after problem with it, playing around with software, playing around with settings, playing with firmware updates. And it also leads into another topic that I think is really important that's very tied into frustration. So, if you've experienced a lot of frustration over something that you just can't get to work right, and you're caught between, okay, do I continue to still plug away at this and get more and more frustrated and potentially more and more dysregulated? Or do you walk away? Or, how does that go? And I think one of the big things that makes a difference for me is to understand what the minimum requirements are to meet my goal. And another way of putting that is to say, what's going to be good enough? Because especially with creative endeavors, but also other things in life, I was one of those people. I saw a meme the other day, totally related with it, where it basically said that one way that autistic people take things literally is to, at some point in life, hear the expression, try your best. And whereas a neurotypical person might hear that and implicitly understand that it means, give it the good college try or put in a decent amount of effort. But, at some point, people realize that there's too much effort expended to be worthwhile. As an autistic person who didn't know I was autistic for most of my life, that's not what I understood that expression to mean. I understood that expression to mean perfection, that I had to do everything I could possibly do, even if it meant expending all my energy and all my frustration tolerance and getting something 100% perfect, which of course doesn't happen, and it leads to frustration in and of itself. And with these videos, I have wanted to make them better over and over again. And what I'm finding is that right now, at least, because I'm entering into a very busy time in my life, it's a good kind of busy. It's things I'm looking forward to, but I know I'm not going to have a ton of time. I have to ask myself, what's good enough? What's good enough, or what is going to be the minimum threshold to where I can feel like I've met a goal, I've done an adequately good job at it, but that I can feel like I can walk away from the thing after I do it and not dwell on how I could have done it better. Because I get caught in thought loops about how I could have done something better. And it's not good for mental health to constantly be doing that. So in terms of the videos, I really enjoy making the videos. I'm going to continue to make the videos. They might be a little bit more stream of consciousness than in the past just because of time constraints. And they also probably are going to have less audio editing. I had spent a lot of time in my previous videos, especially the ones that are shot with my computer and not with my phone, editing out things like breathing noises. And although I really like it a lot better without that in there, if I have to wait to do that to produce content right now at this point in my life, they're not going to get posted. And I would rather post them and potentially be helpful to somebody and myself just talking through things than to sit here and hold on to a video for a couple of weeks before putting it out because I'm spending all this time editing the sound. Obviously, if there's anything really egregious with the sound, I don't want to put it out that way, but I'm going to trust that anybody watching my videos knows that I'm a human and knows that I breathe and knows that I might occasionally make other noises, like I do a clicking thing sometimes before and after pauses, as well as the sound of swallowing. I was trying to edit that out too, and I'm over it, at least right now. And I think that with all of this equipment change, that it's going to be a really positive thing. I just need to learn how to use it. And the only way to learn how to use it is to try to get better at it every time. So I think that's how I'm going to go. I will say, though, that this is not how I would have treated my life in the not too distant past. Because when I thought that I was neurotypical and I was trying so hard all the time, even when I was by myself, to act a certain way, to be a certain way, to speak a certain way, to hold myself a certain way, posture, that now that I know I'm autistic and that so much energy was going into those things that I was really robbing myself of other opportunities to be more authentically me, it's freeing up some energy for me to experiment a little bit. So I'm trying to figure out, not only because I'm middle-aged, trying to figure out who I am and what's authentic. I think middle age brings that just in general, populace at large, but also now knowing that I'm autistic and being on the other side of the neck surgery and knowing that this is a fixed issue at this point, I need to try to figure out what that means. And the only way for me to figure out what it means to feel authentic is to experiment with some things. So I'm going to give an example. And again, with the goal in mind of thinking, what is good enough and what is going to be the minimum requirement to meet my goal. Okay, so here's an example. Obviously, I have a filter with this new camera, and I look a little bit different than I did prior to this section of the video. But I'm using it to illustrate my point because, for example, I have always thought that I looked good with makeup on. That adding a little color, adding a little lipstick, all that sort of stuff, eyeliner, a little bit of eyeshadow, I liked the look. But I cannot wear makeup in real life. I just can't do it. I maybe sometimes might wear a little lip stain and maybe throw a little bit of maybe powder foundation on if I'm really blotchy. But the feeling of having it on from a sensory perspective is awful. I hate it. But I like the look of it. And especially eye makeup. I have no idea how people even put on eye makeup because you have to have the eye closed in order to do the thing. And I wear glasses, so I take the glasses off. I close one eye. I look through the other eye that needs the glasses. It's a whole thing. So when I got this new equipment, I've been playing around with the settings. And what I jacked up for this video is the lip color and the smoothness of the face and things like that. Does this feel authentic to me to do this? Either at the level I'm on now or the level that I was on at the very beginning of this, larger video. Because I had a little bit of a filter on there too, but it wasn't quite so in your face. And I've decided that playing around with this and coming up with the look that to me feels the most authentic, even if it's got a little bit of a filter on it, can be a good thing because I like the look. I've always liked the look. It's just that parts of my autism get in the way of actually putting on makeup. And experimentation with things being something really important right now, I can't tell you how many times when I was younger I experimented with makeup. And I always ended up really frustrated because makeup is expensive. And I would spend all this money trying to get the right colors and everything. And even if I got everything to where if I applied it, it looked fantastic, I couldn't stand to keep it on. And so most of the time, either I would wash it off within 10 or 15 minutes, or it would be smeared all over my face because I touch my face all day long, especially my eyes. I have eye allergies, and it's just, you know, ragweed is my nemesis. So I can experiment with this filter and it doesn't cost me anything, both in terms of money and in terms of frustration. If I don't like part of it, I just dial something down. And I'll also mention here too, I mean, I am middle-aged. I can't say that I ever really got into the video platforms that have had filters forever. You know, I was never a Snapchat person. I'm not really an Instagram person. And I know there's a lot of apps that have filters. I've never really played with it. I've never been interested in it. I never really saw the point. But since the camera I purchased for other reasons has this feature, I'm experimenting. And I'm feeling good about experimenting with it because I know that if I don't like it, I can just change it. So that is where I'm going to land for the end of the video. So to summarize, 2 things. When frustrated with something, trying to figure out what's the best strategy. Do I walk away? Do I keep plugging at it? Do I change where my goal is for what's acceptable, what's good enough? And then the second point is, you know, understanding that I can experiment with things. I can do things wrong and experiment with how to make them better and not have to feel like I'm not trying my best or that I am not meeting some high bar that's been set, and that I can have fun with it. And so I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got something from it. If you have, go ahead and like and subscribe. Make some comments. I'd like to hear about your experiences with these types of things. And as always, thanks for watching.